First, let's meet with Mobius. Hello.
Huh? Yo, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing, you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. A little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely.
That better?
Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. That's old age for you. Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would see the wrong things. Flying tortoises were the worst. Would you care for a mentat?
Sure.
I love mentats. Delicious and smarty. I have all sorts of amazingly science-terrific thoughts and ideas when those chalky tablets are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though, especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot out my chassis. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations, although I've somewhat lost track of where they start and end.
You aren't exactly what I was expecting.
Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical Mobius is better than I.
Why'd you steal my brain?
Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. Anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition.
Can I have my brain back? Well, actually, why is that a problem?
I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I have very good reasons for almost everything I do. Even if I forget them occasionally. Although I feel this one is especially important. Oh, well.
But I want to leave.
Now, that seems to be rather hormonal of you. Flight or fight response, you know. Hard to cut that out completely. Your brain is here, safe with me. We chat over mentats.
I need it back.
Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes.
All right.
Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat, then. Goodbye. Please mind the equations on the floor.
And with that, level 50, the max level. Meaning I should get a level 50 perk, depending on what my charisma. Thought you died. Your storied past has fallen from memory because everyone thought you died. Your karma is reset. You inflict plus 10 damage, and for every 100 points of karma, you gain plus 10 health. You are also immune to critical hits. Yes, because if I had gotten neutral karma, Maybe you were bad once, but you ain't like that now. Your karma's been reset to 0, you regenerate AP 25% faster, and your attack speed is increased by 20%. And if I had bad karma, you had a lot of close calls. Whether you finished a fight with less than 25% health, your luck increases by +4 for 3 minutes. You're also immune to critical hits, and your own critical hits inflict more damage. Oh no, wait, that's bad karma. Ain't like that now. And then this is just neutral. So yeah. I've lost karma, but now I'm back to neutral. Also, yeah, equations on the floor and stuff. Anyway. Brain.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, Crawling through bits of radioactive muck again?
Are you my brain?
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
Why are you such a dick?
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment?
I didn't realize it caused you so much distress.
Well, maybe next time you hear me telling you that charging a nightkin with a penknife is a bad idea, you'll listen.
How the hell did he get a hold of you?
After the think tank extracted me from your skull, they fell to bickering amongst themselves. I'm sad to say we were quite forgotten about. Dr. Mobius saw an opportunity to gain some leverage and had me spirited away to his dome.
How do you manage that?
I don't know. I'm afraid the trauma of our separation rendered me quite insensate. I didn't come around until I was safely ensconced in this tank. I'm quite sure whatever he did was highly scientific, though.
Seems pretty unlikely coincidence.
Hardly. Dr. Mobius keeps a close optical sensor on the goings-on at the think tank. As soon as he saw the opportunity, he took it.
Well, that answers that.
Well, as long as your curiosity is satisfied.
Don't you want to be reunited?
I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you.
What can I do to make this a fair compromise?
If you want me back, we need to establish some ground rules. First, showers! Second, regular checkups. Regular, mind you, and from a reputable doctor. That Julie Farkas woman, for example, she seems to know a thing or two. Third, you need to listen to me more than your hormonal choir and genitalian orchestra. Promise me that, and you've got a deal.
Sure.
Really? I didn't expect you to actually agree to that. I'm afraid that was a bit of a bluff, really. I'm not going with you.
So you'd rather stay here?
Well, certainly there might be some things I miss about being ambulatory. We have seen some incredible sights, haven't we? Jason Bright and his followers launching into the vast unknown. But still, given the tremendous, potentially life-ending peril that went along with those, yes, I'd rather stay here.
Isn't it just as true that you only feel this way because you're lacking those hormones?
I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it?
So we're at an impasse. You can't feel what I feel, and I can't think the way you think.
Indeed. Quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we resolve it?
I think we need to trust each other and acknowledge we aren't complete.
I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us.
So what do you say? Join me for more wild adventures?
Well, I suppose you've convinced me well enough. I'll rejoin your body if that's your final decision. Unfortunately, before we get to that stage of the proceedings, we have a problem. Even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Dr. Mobius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share.
Why? They promised to put us back together.
And you believe them? Really? I know you were recently deprived of my fabulous advice, but... Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be their playground. And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip his own brain into it instead.
Well, I know you don't want to let that happen.
Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day. All right, what's the plan?
Well, if the think tank won't hold their bargain, we'll make them.
Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming out of its jar. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Yes, give me my brain. I've got my brain. Yes. Well, actually, hold on. Before I leave... Yes, I'm going to reattach my spine and heart. Definitely. And this shelf, just cabinets. Where's his room? Because his room has just stuff. Mentats. And another layer. Give me some ammo. Perfect, perfect, perfect.
I do so love integers.
Wait. Scientist scrubs. Med-X withdrawal, of course I am. Oh yeah, here we go, Mentats. All these Mentats. I'll leave some for him because, you know, I don't want to deprive him. Also, I'm really gonna have to see a doctor back in...
I'm running out of floor space for my calculations.
I'm gonna have to definitely go back to the good spring. Also, what's in this chest? Ah, here we go. Mobius's scrubs. Now I gotta go... Well, before I go get my brain, or before the final confrontation, I'm going to need to collect all of the upgrades because for God's sakes. Excuse me, why am I using so many stim packs? Oh yeah, don't I have anything for this addiction? Oh right, I don't have any friggin' fixer. Also, my health is +5 right now, or at 555. So that's nice. But anyway, yeah, let's go get these components for the agricultural part, because I don't want to end the game without getting everything, so... Alright, let's see. Are you... Well, at least they're in these canyons, so... Getting to them will be the easy part, at the very least. Yeah, let me get a layer. Oh yeah, and look at me. Where's my rebreather? Thank you. So these upgrades are all going to be around the sciencey parts. Or all the plant areas. Which is fine, I guess. Makes sense. Or are they going to be up there? Ooh. Botanical garden. I think they're going to be up on the ridges. Because I seem to remember something like that. So, whoopsie, if that's the case. So the first part is here. Here we go, seed. Now to get these other ones, I think I have to go... Oh, there's enemies.
Was that all?
There we go. Yes, I'm gonna go up here because I think the seeds are all up on ridges. Which is not so good. Let's see... yeah, over here. Gonna cross this.
Time to fight. Cessation of hostilities complete.
Packet of seeds.
Starting combat. Just kidding.
At least you're better
This one
than
looks pretty tough.
At least you're better than the suit from Fallout 3 that just yells. You're actually
That's
nice.
all.
Seeds are done. Now what next? Return the samples to the sink. Okay then. Hopefully that's it. Alright, inside the sink. I got all the music. First up, here you go.
You got some plans for me, don't you?
I command you to open your port and receive my seed.
Ah, yeah, baby. Just slip it in there. All the way down in that dark, moist earth. Launching interface.
Process seed.
Come on, baby. Bring me a sweet little dried fruit. I'll rehydrate all up in that thing. Well, hello.
Salient green. Well, there you go. I did it, so...
What's the hat?
Got sound wave file. There we go. Is that it? That should be the completion of, yep, the quest. But is that it? That's the question. That is it. Holy crap, we actually finished it. Nice. Old World Blues time. First, let's retrieve everything. Yeah, retrieve the...
You require some addition.
Yes. Swap parts. Swap my heart. I gained cardiac arrest. Your heart is back in your body, but some advanced technologies remain. You are less resistant to poison, and robots are only somewhat confused. But on the bright side, healing items are twice as effective. Nice. That means my stim packs are much better.
You require some additional...
Yes. Put my spine back in. Your spine is back in your body, but some advanced technologies remain. Your torso can now be crippled, but your strength and damage threshold bonuses have doubled. Nice. So any strength or damage threshold bonus I have is much better now. Alright. Let's go. Make sure you're prepared. I am prepared.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
I found my brain. Now we're gonna settle this.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
Things we need to discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
You think I'm the lobotomite? No, for my skull houses the brain of Mobius.
That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Mobius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible.
Countless brain extraction surveys existed, but only one implantation one for Mobius.
You speak the truth. And the decibel variation in your voice, it is Mobius. How dare you breach the think tank? And what do you want here?
I offer a deal. Stay here, and I'll let you live.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
I can bring the Mojave, this world, to you. You'll be safe, and you'll still be able to experiment.
For you? And for science? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
And there we go. We can leave and hopefully... Oh, I forgot to go to the auto dock. God dang it. Okay, time for sync.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The Courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The Sync Central Intelligence Unit was impressed by the amount of exploration the Courier had undertaken. Facilities believed lost, destroyed, or ones that had simply gotten up and walked to new locations had been rediscovered by its intrepid new master. Internally, the artificial personality debated as to whether it preferred the old management to the new, and concluded that the Courier's thorough approach to research and investigation was admirable and worthy of its respect.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat. One of them eventually transferred to the Lightwave Dynamics plant, and began a long, unrequited affair with one of the holograms.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the Courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names much too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the Courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic, dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the Courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found REPCON HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The Courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the Courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the Courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the Courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World Blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the Courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal ponder, the Courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the Courier had to walk alone.
And we're done. That was Old World Blues. I got big brained. Your brain is back in your body, but some advanced technology remained. Your head cannot be crippled, but you're 10% more you're only 10% more resistant to addiction. Surprisingly, your damage threshold has improved by 10%. And now I've acquired the transportal ponder. I can go between the Big Empty and the Mojave Wasteland. Excuse me. I can't do it while in interiors.
Huzzah, sir! Huzzah! Huzzah!
Yeah.
I trust matters regarding...
Yeah, can you heal me? Yes, give me that. Thank you. Completely healthy. Now, where's the way to... Ah, yes, observation area. With that, I shall leave this part a little bit shorter, because it doesn't need to be that long. Now, armed with my new doohickey, let's go! Because now I can return here anytime I want. Ah, good to be back in that Mojave.
Was that all?
Ah, look at that sun shining brightly. Thank you for watching. Remember to have yourselves a good day. I'll see you next time, where we continue to tackle on the NCR. Bye-bye.